Hold up. Once again, we live on another Saturday.
That's crazy.
May 3rd. Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let me get this camera in full effect here real quick. What's going on with y'all, bros?
Yo.
What's going on with y'all?
Well, somebody feel rejuvenated. Somebody rejuvenated.
Listen.
Woo.
Listen.
Whoa.
Listen. There's only a few things that can happen to you that, make you feel like you Superman out here sometimes.
So you had a bath salt?
Man, listen. What? Oh, what? Hold on a second. I know. My man running the Dr. Phil medical podcast is not talking right now.
Absolutely.
Hey, yo,
Absolutely.
Congrats on that video, Jay. That video's taking off, brother.
Man. I didn't get to watch the whole thing yet.
Yeah,
but,
me neither. I started it.
Appreciate it.
But nah, man, that video's taking off, man. Congrats.
Brought in the freaking the medical team.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I've been working hard. We've been working really hard on that vid, man.
Oh,
really hard.
That is dope.
Shout out to the Philippines. What up? Kamusta Kanai.
Shout out to Purple Haze making an appearance once again on a Saturday. What's good with you?
What up?
Yeah, man. You only got me for an hour, so make it count.
Same
Only
here.
got him
Same
for
here.
an hour.
That's what she said.
Sound like we at the massage parlor or some shit. Pause.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
My
said
boy
make it
Maurice,
count.
Executive Talk, is in the build. What up?
What's good with y'all?
What up, exec?
Trey Elevate, Mr. Think I'm Possible, Purple Haze, and myself,
Yo.
where you at Kicks 26. We back again. May 3rd, first Saturday of May. And we actually have two different pairs of sneakers dropping today. We got the Get Me Not Ladies Jordan 4s and the Nike SB Dunk California Skate Education Foundation lows dropping today. Fellas, going after anything today?
For me, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna sit back today and just parlay today. Today is a parlay day for me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be sitting from the bleachers eating popcorn with this one. Yeah, just seeing what happens, who makes out with what. So,
Yeah, same here. I'm not touching those SBs. I think those aluminums look pretty nice. It's a nice little ladies kick, and once again, it looks like a nice Easter pastel color. It looked like something that they could have definitely dropped for Easter.
Facts.
But yeah, nothing for me.
Facts.
So I actually am interested in those California Skate Shop SBs. I'm interested in those. They give me pigeon dunk vibes.
I can see that.
They give me the pigeon dunk vibes. So I'm like, you know what?
Nice.
We gonna see what's up with them. What's up with them.
I see what you're talking about. CSEF, College Skateboarding
Correct.
Educational Foundation. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Is it college or California? I thought it was California.
It's college. No, it's college.
It's college.
It's college. Foam, what up?
What up? Foam in the build. Good morning.
I'm interested in these. Superfly in the building. What's good?
What up?
Two kids in a trench coat. What up?
I'm interested in these joints. Now, what's interesting is, if you notice, it's not the traditional SB tongue on these. And someone pointed it out to me yesterday was that
like
the
little scan sheet joint. I see it.
Was the the Scantron. Yeah.
Scantron, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, you got the Scantron joints on there.
I see that.
But the Black History Month SBs have the same style tongue. It's not like that fat.
Also,
SB
the
tongue.
Utos have the same tongue as well. They started the trend.
Really, the green, the new ones, the asparagus joints.
No, not the asparagus ones. They have the puppy tongue, the OGs, the original Utos.
See, now I gotta go back. I gotta go back to them because I got them.
Yeah,
I've yet to unds those. I need to do that.
Nice. Dwayne Saunders in the build. What up?
What up, man? Shout out to the chat being in here. SFK _gaming. Two kids in a trench coat. What's good?
Yes,
I
sir.
probably shouldn't even be on that.
Yeah. I was looking at that like, yeah, that's not a good
But
one.
you
right
know
there.
what? He's all good. Dwayne Saunders was good.
Yeah,
Javi
that's not a
Gregory was
one.
good. Phone 509. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, like I said, I actually like these. I think the ultimate judge will be if and when I get them in hand. We'll see.
Ooh.
Am I gonna put in footwork for these like that? No, I'm not. Oh, speaking of which, I didn't even tell y'all. So I had a good $120 in GOAT credit, and I saw that the Rare Air 3s were basically out the doors what I would pay at retail here locally in Florida. So I said, you know what?
You pull the trigger.
I pulled the trigger and I got Rare Air 3s from GOAT on the way.
Nice.
Did you get them for under retail?
I got them it's like right at retail, like a couple dollars.
Oh, when's
Welch in the
when?
build. What up?
Yeah.
Sure.
I was just like, screw it.
What up, Welch?
Yo,
Yeah.
hey, yo, Perp, let me share this with you real quick because I think I already told this to Lewis. Jay, I'm not sure if I spoke to you. So SneakerCon Denver, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had the usual suspects, but I want to talk about these Rare Air 3s, especially since they're going, right at or some below, whatever. At SneakerCon Denver, we had all of the usual suspects there. I'm talking about we had a plethora of brick by bricks. I'm talking about a ton of them. We had a ton of brick by bricks. We had a ton of the Travis Scott Low Velvet Browns. We had a ton of flu games. We had a ton of the SB4 Navies. I'm talking about every table, a ton, right? And then the Union, the Chicago Shadow Union, wasn't many of them. I'm talking about maybe you'll see like 2 per table if a table had any.
That's
2
surprising.
pairs, if that. The Air Jordan 185 breads, we had about in the entire building, we had about 5 or 6 of them in the entire building. And I got to SneakerCon first thing, like as soon as they opened. I was there like fresh. So it wasn't many. Now let's talk about the Rare Air 3s and the Rare Air 4s. I did not see a single pair at SneakerCon. Now, that don't mean that it wasn't there because I only stayed for 2 hours. I had other things to do that day. But I did not I didn't actively see a single pair of Rare Air 3s or 4s at SneakerCon.
Wow.
No 3s, no 4s. No, you said no white cement 4s either.
I didn't see a single pair of white cement 4s as well. You're right.
Crazy.
Yep.
See, to me, shoes like that would have been front and center for a lot of people's tables, I would think.
Oh, another one I saw a ton of was the black metallics, the Jordan 5s. A ton of them.
Speaking of, y'all see them resale prices on them black metallic 5s?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't looked recently.
Between StockX and GOAT, man, they in that 400 range.
Wow, climbed up.
They in the 400 range on the metallic 5. I honestly, listen. There's a lot of different factors that go into picking like sneaker of the year, but as far as like a general release sneaker, I would say as of right now, that's probably sitting at the top.
Let me say this, man. Like, because y'all know I did a video on the Rare Air 3s. So I dropped that video. And let me tell you right now, man, that kick to me could have been better than the brick by brick if it wasn't for just one little thing.
Oh.
So if you guys haven't seen my Rare Air 3 video, man, hey, go ahead and check it out. Kick GOAT. I'm looking at the box right now in front of me. The kick is stupid dumb. Hooked on phonics dumb. But if it wasn't for that stupid, oh my gosh, material issue, man, Nike, this right here would have been like almost at the top of Mount Everest for 2025. I just had to, it went from a 10 out of 10 to an 8.5 to me. That kick is still super fired. Probably one of the most, if not the most wearable kick of 2025 right now. The lace swap game I did on that joint, crazy dumb.
So
you need to put a Band-Aid on that kick, bro.
Bro,
to stop the
crazy
bleeding.
dumb. Crazy dumb. My God. Way better than the 4. Listen, y'all know I love 4 so much, but this Rare Air 3 is absolutely taking a squat on those 4s. You hear
Uh-oh.
me? You hear me?
Oh, he said a
You
squat.
hear me?
Hey,
But
yo, perp. So it's taking a squat on a white cement force?
no. He said a Rare Air Force.
I know.
Okay.
He stopped drinking that water real quick. You see
Even
that?
I do. Don't
He
do
stopped drinking
that
that
to
water
Jay.
real quick. He was like,
Don't do that to Jay.
You about
Don't
to
do that.
put water out.
You about to have my man crash out here in a
And
second.
listen, and the
Don't
Rare
do
Air
that
Force
to
is
him.
fire, bro. The Rare Air Force is fire, but I'm telling you right now, that Rare Air 3 is something special.
Like, to me, the Rare Air 4, it's the same color scheme as the 3s. But what's the unique feature besides the Velcro patch? To me, a mirrored Nike Air on the back. I don't recall them ever doing that with any other shoes. You guys recall that?
I mean, no, it's just part of the Rare Air joint. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying it's a unique feature that when you look at the 4s in terms of, uniqueness, I mean, granted, like that the Velcro patch, but to me, like it's almost like the what were those white 3s that came out last year? What's the ones I'm talking about?
Ivory.
Crab
Yeah,
Ivy.
that had the Nike the Jumpman and Nike Air like overlay with each other.
That was done before, though.
Yeah. Yep. Hate to lose in the building. What up, John?
Yeah,
Jay,
they
what up?
did it with the what was the
Jay.
those Korean joints
before with the overlay.
Oh, you're talking about the I got them right here. Hold on. And besides that, you're talking about the denims. Originally, it came with the denims, with the overlay. It was the denims, but I got the other ones right here that dropped in 2024. I'm looking at that pair right now as well.
But you could say the same for the Rare Air 4s, because the undefeated 4s are actually a Rare Air 4 that had that feature. Because it does say rare. Once you remove the patch, it does say Rare Air on the Velcro side. So
which a lot of people are not aware of.
Correct.
They're not.
Hey, shout out to my guy Jay. He said, "Drink water, unblouse your boots, and sit in the shade." He's talking about me saying how much I love those 3s over those 4s. The 4s are fire. But man, I love them 3s, bro.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, to me, the Rare Air 3, to me, man, could have been, if it just wasn't for that one little situation, I'd definitely rate them over the Brick by Brick. Just telling you right now. That Rare
That's
Air.
interesting. You would put them over the Brick by Brick. I mean, so
hey, it's an opinion.
That's a tough call. That's a tough call to put them over there. But hey, if you see it, you see it.
Yeah, it's just my opinion.
You see it, you see it. You know,
nothing wrong with that.
It's nothing wrong with it. It's just
but
the Brick by Brick such a standout. Such a standout looking.
No. There's nothing wrong with that, because I don't think, if Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Brick by Brick was in your top 3, or maybe even top 4, if I'm not mistaken. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm it was not in my top 3. That's facts.
Yeah. I didn't think it was.
So far of released kicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Brick by Bricks is fire. Don't get me wrong. All
right, real quick, taking a quick look here at the aluminum 4s, also known as the Forget Me Not 4s. Now, it's interesting that they're not showing them with the flowers that they were originally showing these with. So whenever they showed these, they had these flower patches that the laces could go through, and you could take it off.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they heard enough noise saying, why the hell are them things on there? And they decided to display the pictures without them. And they look way better, in my opinion, without them damn flowers laced up on there. 100%. How are these going to move, though, is the question, because they're kind of like a purplish blue. They kind of give off some UNC vibe in a kind of a way. But I'm sure that's not necessarily the I'm not. Oh, there we go. See these. There we go.
But see where your kicks like when I see this, I think the flowers look good for the little girls. You know,
I think
for little girls, yes.
Yeah, I think it looks really nice. Yeah,
for little girls.
I agree.
But this is women's.
For that particular, you know what I mean? For that particular age group, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's cool for the young ladies, And I think for the grown women, you take them flowers off, we giving you your flowers. Because this right here is a fly kick for the ladies.
I like
to me, this is a fly summer kick for the ladies. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, personally, I think these are clean. They're real clean looking.
Do a lace swap on those with pink laces.
Yeah, you could. It comes with an extra set of laces, though. Extra set of white laces.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a light pink on that.
Yeah,
they clean though. They clean.
Mm-hmm.
They clean for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Hey, Retrieve said the bricks are fire. There's just so much hype around them. Let me ask you guys this: why is there a lot of hype around these bricks? I'm just curious. What's the hype behind the brick? Not just the shoe itself, right? Not just the shoe itself, but what's the hype? What's the hype behind it?
The Bike Air.
I know the resale value is
the Bike Air.
The Bike Air.
It's a unique shoe, unique story. Nike actually did some serious advertising behind the shoe, as well as Nigel going out there and promoting it.
We missing one thing. Let's be honest.
Go ahead.
Let's be honest. We missing one thing. Can I get a moment? Can I get a moment?
Okay.
You see that? Quality. You see that? See those strokes? Pause. Quality.
Did you just finger your sneaker on a live?
He did.
You ready?
Ooh.
Damn.
That's called the dip and sniff.
Damn.
It's done.
And I'm not gonna wash my hands.
Damn. My thing is you fingering that joint dry though, bro.
That's my business. That ain't y'all. That's my business.
Sheesh.
Get some Rejuvenator baby oil.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Here we go. Put some of that mink oil right here.
Oh, yeah. They call that the death roll, the death stroke.
I agree with you, bro. The bricks were just limited, and the Bike Air is facts. It's just that, like, forget.
Were they limited though? Were they limited, Mr. Think? With as many pairs as you saw, were they really that limited, or just a bunch of people was able to get their hands on them?
And watch this. I actually do think they're still limited, but people weren't picking them up to keep them; they're picking them up to flip them, which makes a lot of sense. So because that was the reason I was asking the question. Obviously, I love the kick, but I mean the high 85 breads were more limited than those brick by bricks. So as far as stock numbers, I'm talking about. So but there's a reason why those bricks are really taking the stage. To your point, Lewis, I mean, granted, yes, the 5, the black metallics was the GR and everything, but there's something about these bricks. Is it just because I guess the reason I was saying it is it just because of the resale value? Like they could have taken the Air Jordan 1 Union, kept it at a $700 shoe, and then that would have been the super hot popular kick just because of the resale value.
Well,
but they chose brick by bricks, and that was the reason I was asking why the brick. I was just kind of curious why the brick by bricks.
Okay, so to your point, do you guys remember the those flea SBs, the ones with the green?
Yeah.
Green. Okay, so the resale was kind of high on those, but wasn't nobody picking them as being sneaker of the year. I would say in this case, like Jay's got a point, the quality is there on the shoe, but overall, I mean, color scheme aside, because it's orange and we usually don't get all over orange shoes, although we had like the there was the Jordan 1 Gatorade series where they had like the green, the blue, the orange pair, whatever. And maybe there's a few others out there. I'm probably forgetting the name, but that bike air on the back, that's something we've never gotten before on a Jordan 4, even though, yes, they did give it to us on the 4 RMs, which, we could argue as to whether or not they should have continued putting 4 RM models out there the way they did, because, the community was actually liking the original Grandma's Driveway 4 RM theme and all that kind of stuff. And then they kind of oversaturated the market with the different colorways of the Jordan 4 RM. But just overall, construction, build quality, color blocking, all that, it's just very unique. It reminds you of when you first saw the Pine Green SB4s and the way the community gravitated towards it. That's the effect I see that these bike Air Force are having.
And Lewis, everything y'all are saying, I actually agree with. My question was just the why these, and everything makes sense, because the moment they would have came out with 5,000 pairs of the SB4 Navies, that'd be the sneaker of the year. As soon as they make it super limited and no one can get their hands on them, and they got $1,000 resale value, then that's it. That would have been the shoe. That plain navy would have been the shoe.
But see, there were a decent amount of metallic 5s out there, and just the demand went crazy for whatever reason. I would say, and Perp, you can speak on this. I would say the fact that the Midnight Navy SB4s is the second iteration, that, a lot of times they say the sequel is never as good as the first one.
Bingo. I mean, look at the Utos right now, right? Look at the Matchas versus the OG. You know what I mean? There's a huge divide on what's the better sneaker. Well, I won't say huge, but there is a divide on what's the bigger sneaker.
Mm-hmm.
Best sneaker variation out of the two of those. For me, whether you like green or not, you cannot deny the OG Pine Green SB4. It was the first. It created a wave of hype that we haven't seen matched until this year. And this is a sneaker that dropped in 23. And I don't think anybody would argue that. It set the tone. And honestly, and this is a hot take, but I think it really paved the way for the Nigel 4s as well, for the bike 4s. I mean, we see how the craze demand that built and built and built, and it continues to go right now. I mean, that sneaker in our sizes is what, 600 plus at this point. So, I mean, it's continuing the trend, and that's something that we would not have seen prior to 23, minus had the SB4 Pine Greens not have dropped and created that demand, that wave that they did back in 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
I would agree.
Great point. Great point.
Someone said, how do they wear, though? I've heard the SB4s wear a lot better. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. My bad.
Like, if you're talking about wear, if you're talking about comfortability, the SB4s is more comfortable, bro. The SB4s are more comfortable. And it's not to say the Brick by Bricks are not comfortable. It's just kind of like the Brick by Bricks is like a standard Air Jordan 4, which to me, Air Jordan 4s are comfortable, right? But if you're talking about how something contours to your foot, the shape of that SB, it's the SB, bro. It's the SB, how it literally contours to the shape of your foot, and how if you put your foot in that SB4, you'll already feel like how that ridge or how it goes up is like kind of a wave, kind of like it gives you like kind of like a somewhat of an arch in the inner or lateral portion of your foot. So it's that SB4, bro. It's that SB4.
100%, Jay. And G-Face put a comment up there. He said total stock counts in both examples. Both first OG version had way less stock, and you see, I've already seen because people were able to cop these SB4 Navies because it was an easy cop. People instantly were saying they're bricks.
Mhm.
because it was easy to obtain. So that kind of proves my point. They're saying those are bricks, not because they don't like the sneaker. It's because it was too easy to cop.
Well, see, that's the thing, and let's talk about that for a minute, Mr. Thing, because you made a very good point. G-Face also made a very good point. Oracle in the building, shout out, salute. So when you think about it comprehensively, this was a different type of drop altogether. What they did with the Navy SB4s. Okay, we did the scratch off, and we saw that when they dropped the Powerpuff Girl SB. Okay, and we saw how that went, but that was more like a pilot. What they did with the SB
Correct.
dump, the Powerpuff Girls, as opposed to what they did with the Navy SB4s. They refined that process because if you all remember, and I know a lot of us went in there, we went to the scratch out for those Powerpuff Girls. It was a debacle. It was a shit show. But Nike went back and they refined it. And so when you did the scratch off, because people didn't understand it was a scratch off with the Powerpuff Girls, they thought they had to scratch the whole picture and they thought they had to do this, do that, or go on a different type of lens for a phone. This with the look 1, 2, 3 done. Right, you're in there. Got them. Screen came up. For some people immediately. Some people 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the case may be. But they refine the process. But more importantly, that completely shut out the bots. Now, when you eliminate the bots from a sneakers app drop, it changes the whole dynamic of things. It's not the fact that the sneaker was easier to get. It was the fact that you now eliminated a huge roadblock in what has traditionally been happening since sneakers app first came out.
Yeah.
Bots, feast or famine. You remove the bots, you change the whole dynamic of that. So it's not the fact that they're easier to get or they break out because they were so easy to get. Nike completely opened up the doors and removed the biggest barrier that they've ever experienced in sneakers app. A lot of people aren't understanding that.
It's interesting. It's almost like a catch-22.
Yeah.
It's like if you're able to get in and get a sneaker quick, you're like, wait,
that was too
did
easy.
Did people not want these? Did people not want them? Like I was able to get my pair like fairly easy. Like, were you able to get your pair? Yeah, I got in pretty easy too. Damn, people must not want them. Mind you, they sold out.
Now, if they
sold out.
If they didn't do a scratch off, people will be punching air right now.
Punching air, and I almost feel like
the bots would have ate it all up.
Listen, I almost feel like a lot of times that people need to hear there's people punching the air that they couldn't get a pair for them to appreciate the fact that they were able to get their pair. Like, listen, these Rare Air 3s that are coming in, I can just sit here in peace because you have no idea what that release is going to be like when the shoe actually drops. Because, listen, are they going to, from my understanding, they are supposed to be getting released at JD Sport Finish Line. Cool. Guess what? I may get EA. I got a lot of points, but how do we know that day, for some reason, my app decides to take a dump and start glitching, and now I can't get through the queue? It happens to some people. We've seen the sneakers app freeze up on people. We've seen a multitude of issues happen where, for whatever reason, people that have iPhones can't get through and do stuff, or it'll be the inverse where people got Android phones that can't get through and do stuff. So, look, for all intents and purposes, yeah. Should the Rare Air 3s be able to be copped? Should be, but we thought that about the Metallic 5s also, and then release day came, and yeah, we saw it. So
no one saw that coming either, and also no one saw the retail going through the roof on those either. But to Lewis's point, to where he takes his point, it's so unpredictable right now. We are in uncharted waters right now, and we don't know if this thing is going to swing left or right.
There's only one person who saw the Cool Grey 9s move like that. There's only one. Ooh.
Yep.
He finally got his time to shine.
Here you go, Jay.
There's only one.
You put your pinky out. Put your pinky out.
Yes.
Yeah, we never got Stradamus's take for that shoe release. We never got his take on that.
You know what? Just a shoe guy, he said, "Hey man, what SB should he get for under 250?" And really, bro, it's all about what you're trying to do with your kick, bro. Like honestly, we just talked about the Yuto Machas, bro. You can get the Yutos Machas for under 250 right now. Really, probably under 200.
Yeah,
So
he actually said under 200, Jay.
no, he changed it. He said
Okay.
He said he said just under. He said under 250.
Yeah, you can go with the Udos, bro, right now under 200. It's not a bad. Honestly, it's not a bad kick, and they give you some lace to swap it out with, so it ain't a bad kick.
G-Face said Rare Airs are loaded up on DSG app right now. Okay.
Okay. Good
Cool.
intel.
I didn't know that. Let me go check that out.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Those Rare Airs, it's man, it ain't. I ain't gonna lie. It's definitely worth a double up. I'm not gonna. lie.
It might be. It actually might be on that shoe. To be honest with you.
So Jay Lewis, let me ask you this, Perp. Let me ask you this because Jay and I talked about this during WrestleMania. So if these Rare Air threes do not move, could we come to a somewhat of a conclusion to say people aren't messing with threes right now? If these Rare Airs don't move, if it's not a collab, let's push collabs to the side.
That's real interesting you said that because Jay and I were actually having a conversation, Jay, about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about R3 is dead at this point. And Jay had some really good insight on that. Jay, you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this in a Rare Air 3 video as well. I think we just had too many black threes. And I think the problem is that people are like, okay, even though the Rare Air 3 is not the same kick, you know what I'm saying, as the Green Glow threes or as the Black Cement threes, we just had too many black threes, and people are like, I'm tired of it. I'll be honest with you, and I've said this, as much as I love threes, if this three does not do well, it is time to go ahead and close the vault on the three. And if you do not close the vault on the three, you better give us a different colorway, something totally different that's going to bring back that luster of that three. I'll also tell you this right now. If that Rare Air 3 doesn't do well, I think there's something we're going to look forward to in a negative notion for Nike to say, okay, what's going on with the sneaker market itself? Is it absolutely starting to fizzle out a little bit? And I've said this before. We talked about it. We talked about this on the podcast channel. Hey, open up the vault, let it all loose, let it all hang, right? But at the end of the day, I've said this before. It is not a smart business move. Nike right now, with all the releases they could have done, this could have been a 2-year release, a 3-year release, stretched it out so people can have a breather. People right now literally need a sneaker box, a sneaker ventilator right now to assist themselves because there's so much work. Their minds is like they losing it. Now with the potential tariff situation, I do feel like this was a bad move, and I called it and I said it. And right now it is starting to come to fruition of what I said, what happens in the future. There's a lot of things I say that the chat disagrees, and then coming to find out a year and a half, 2 years later, it starts coming true.
So real quick though, you said there's too many what threes?
Too many black threes that have been releasing.
Dr. Umar is now in the building, sir.
Oh, Dr.
Hey, what's the release date? What's the release date for the threes? What's the release date for the threes? Because I don't see them on DSG. I see the white cement on
30th. I think it's the 30th.
Oh, it's the 30th.
After the white cement. So the white cement supposed to drop on the 24th, and then they drop the following week.
The 30th. I see it on there now. Yeah.
So to your point, so right now we have Nike, Adidas, and 74 other footwear brands signed letter to Trump for tariff exemption. Says here, as a leading U.S. footwear business, manufacturers and retailers, we urge you to exempt footwear from the reciprocal tariffs. Many companies making affordable footwear for hardworking lower and middle income families. Hold on a second about that. That's my face with that one, but continue. Let's see here. cannot absorb tariff rates this high, nor can they pass along these costs. Without immediate relief from the reciprocal tariffs, they will simply shudder. This is the actual letter. I'm not going to go through and read that, but if you guys would like to take a look at this, you can find it on IG through Soul Retrievers IG page. They have it there. Okay. Gentlemen, your thoughts and opinions. And here's a list of all the different shoe brands. Let's see here. Hopefully I can read some of it. Highline Unite. Some of these brands I never even heard of before in my life. Deer Stacks, Designer Brands, ES Originals, Birdies, Boggs, Brooks, I know. Billy Footwear, BBC International. Stop it. Area International, Advanced Manufacturing Group, Adidas America is on there. Let's see, Capri Holdings Limited. That's Versace, Jimmy Choo, Michael Kors. You know, it's a pretty significant list on here. I don't see Nike brand on here though. That's interesting. Well, wait, there's more to the list. Oh, there we go. It's in alphabetical order. Journeys, Kuru Footwear, Mark Fisher, Nike, Vance Shoes. Yeah, I mean, look, this is something we definitely talked about, right? You know what I mean? With the way these tariffs are, yeah, I mean, if they tried to pass these costs on to the customers, you know, you're talking about, you know, your traditional like Panda style dunk probably running you almost $200 at retail. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, or maybe I'm close to being spot on, but it's you know what the interesting part is that, for example, Nike is an American company, and because they import the quote unquote American product from China, Vietnam, whatever, that's why they're getting hit obviously with the tariff. Now the argument is, oh well, why not just build the Nikes here in the US? Okay, so New Balance does actually have a plant here in the US, although I'm not necessarily sure how it works in terms of, is it that the material gets sent over and then final assembly happens here in the US, or are they actually building shoes from the ground up in the US at that factory? I'm not 100% sure on that.
They build the entire shoe on US soil.
So the whole shoe gets built. So it's not like the product is there and then they assemble it. The whole thing from the ground up gets built here in the US factory. Is that what you're saying? Are we for sure on that?
But they also don't tell you that they also use roughly 85% plus of their workforce are Mexican immigrants or South American immigrants.
So to your point, and to what it is I'm talking about, so like Honda has plants here in the US, and the way they do it is they send the pieces into the US and then they put the car together here on US soil. So that technically gets around some of the import issues as well. But this is one of the ways in which they're trying to, I guess, bring manufacturing back into the US, is basically saying, okay, well, if you're going to import from these other countries, you're going to get hit with all this. If it's assembled here in the US, maybe that's a way to get around it.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at, like, for example, automotive tariffs right now, which actually a new round of automotive tariffs actually hit this morning. You can have, you could have 90% of your car built here in the States, but I guarantee you that other 10% is going to come from Mexico. And that's where you get slammed on the back end with those tariffs. And same with sneakers, obviously, unless you're completely building a car ground up in the US, which there's not one single automotive manufacturer that's doing that now. then there's no way around it. You cannot circumvent the process. And that's the big part, and why a lot of these companies like Nike and all these other companies that you listed that are subbed up to a lot of these bigger parent companies are, begging the president for some exemptions as far as that, to give us a breather. Because one thing I disagree about that letter is they said, well, we can't pass this along to the customer. Oh, yes, you will. You absolutely will pass that along to the customer. 100%.
You're right, because that's what everyone's going to do.
Literally. Absolutely. You're not going to have a choice. You either pass the buck to the customer or you go out of business. Simple as that. So I disagree with the way that the verbiage was within that letter.
Right.
But that's another story.
No, they made it seem like they were definitely on the consumer side for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about the consumer. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they have to, though, in a way.
17 minutes too, by the way. If anyone's going for
there we go.
You included, Lewis.
They have to, in a way, though, because obviously us as citizens, we don't necessarily have a way to get our voice up there. Now, granted, our state representatives and all that should be doing things for us, but that's a whole other conversation for another day and another different podcast as far as how our federal government works. That being said, I mean, even these companies, look, I'll put it to you like this. If one of the best-selling pickup trucks in America is the Ford F-150, off the top of my head, what are they going for, around 40, 50 grand?
Yeah, probably around like 55.
Okay, if you turn around and now your regular freaking F-150 is running you $80,000, I'm telling you right now, like, ain't nobody buying that joint. Nobody's buying them. Nobody's gonna buy them. Them new cars are gonna sit on them lots, rotten. They're gonna sit at the docks, rotten, because no one's paying that.
So I've said this and I'll say it again. And I know there are some people out there. Most people disagree with me. Whether it's Apple, whether it's god doggone Nike, I really don't care. At the end of the day, everybody said if Nike built a factory here, we're going to pay way more money for these kicks. Well, let me ask you this question. How is it possible that New Balance is doing it? I want you guys to sit back and really think.
That's what we got to figure out, is how they're doing it.
But see, New Balance, right? They do not have, everything is not here. All of the kicks are not here. The kicks that are produced here says made in the US. The ones that are not, they will tell you made in wherever, right? So how is it possible that New Balance is doing it? And this is why I was trying to tell everybody, at the end of the day, right? Nike can do it. Nike can sit back and say, okay, we need to go ahead and do this over here. And I didn't say every kick needs to be over here, but if you have something that is created over here but produced somewhere else, make it make sense. Mr. Think, you said it perfectly last week. You said, yeah, bro, but as a business owner, if it's cheaper to do it over there and bring it back here, I'm going to save me some money. And Mr. Think, you said it so perfectly, bro. But again, at the end of the day, when we talk about New Balance is the standard when it comes to taking a kick and creating it here and producing it here. That is my whole entire point. This is part of the reason why you can see kicks are starting to fizzle out so much, because of the rising costs, right? Which absolutely does not make any sense at all, right? And it has to be something really special for people to come back out and say, oh, man, I'm going to get that.
Yeah, but you're saying that as if New Balance wouldn't raise their prices either.
Yes, but listen, they did raise their price, but their prices are like a little bit cheaper or comparable to Nike kicks. Can we not agree on that?
So
and it's made here.
Okay. So what percentage would you say is made here in the U.S.?
I don't want to sit here and
okay. Well, it says here 75% are made outside of the U.S.
Okay.
In total, about 75% of all their shoes are produced in factories not owned by New Balance.
See, that's huge.
Then there's Maine and Massachusetts. Apparently, are the American places. They have 5 facilities in Maine and Massachusetts, but 75% of all their shoes are made in factories not owned by New Balance outside of the United States.
So
Listen.
let me ask the panel this question, because we all know about the Jordan 1. So hypothetically speaking, right? I don't remember the exact cost of what it's like to produce a sneaker. I don't know if it was like $12 or whatever that number was. But Jay, let's just say hypothetically speaking, Nike got their factories here, and instead of $12 to make a Jordan 1, I'm just throwing a number out there. Now it's $30. Will the Jordan 1 retail at $180 because it's US made and made in the US? Or what would that 180 potentially go to? This is the hypothetical. What would that 180 of a Jordan 1 retail of a Jordan 1 go to, because their cost just doubled for having a US factory made or whatever?
So here's the thing. And the word I'm going to use is called greed. If you produce a kick for $30, right, for example, and you still got that $180, $200 price point, yes, your company is making a less profit, but you're still profitable. You're still profitable. You do not need a $3.5 million bonus every year. That's where greed comes into play.
16. I see it. 16. Okay. I said
Right?
12, but yeah.
Right. That's where greed comes into play. So, you don't necessarily need a board member who's automatically I'm making up a number, chat, right? 10 million a year. Why do you need a $3.5 million increase every year? That's called greed. You're already at good standing. What you want to do is make sure your company is still flourishing. It's called greed. And it's been.
But are we any better?
What you mean? Are we any better?
Are we any better? We not greedy too?
Bro, listen, we all have greed, but there's a point. There's a point where greed becomes like, okay, this ain't right. It becomes to the point where it becomes to a point where this is pretty ridiculous. Okay, I'll give you an example, right? You have banks. Banks are constantly doing what? They are buying up houses. And these houses are what? Empty property. So that's called greed. Why? Because what they want to do is control the market and only have renters and not owners. That's the big major difference in the game. And that's just facts.
Well, I feel that, and I'll use this as an example. Let's get a bit granular with this.
10 minutes, y'all. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes to 10 o'clock.
Steve Cook actually made a really good point. He was asked a couple of years ago, why aren't Apple products manufactured on U.S. soil? Outside of the obvious cost variance, but the other part about it is skilled technical workers. We don't have that in the U.S., right? The most skilled technical workers on the planet all reside in China, all throughout the major 5 provinces, right? You're talking about from the time of 6 years old all the way up until college and graduation of college. They are trained and skilled, right? Software engineers, right? Refiners, developers, coders, operations managers. They are skilled primarily and specifically targeting this trade, right?
That's a good point.
We don't have that in this country. If we were left to our own devices, it would literally take us 2 to 3 decades to catch up to the progress where China has over us right now as far as that. And that's why Apple products will always be made in China.
And to your point, Apple is what? An American company.
Exactly.
Another American company.
It's a really good point.
Isn't that crazy?
So it transcends cost from that perspective, as opposed to a skilled labor trade.
Apple, right? Created in the U.S., built by people overseas, and consumed by Americans.
How do you like them?
It's crazy how much we buy from our own companies that don't produce none of their stuff here in America.
Listen, at the end of the day, we need the world more than the world needs us.
I mean, let's keep it a bean. Perp, you work in tech. How often we always hearing about, well, we're going to offload these jobs to the offshore team.
Every day.
They're going offshore.
I mean, the biggest software
Perp
company
just said something crazy, bro. We need the world more than the world needs us, but yet here we are holding like the world currency.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Pause. The world works off the USD.
for now.
That's right, for now, because they trying to push BRICS.
You're right. There's stuff going on behind it. They're gonna figure this out really fast. They're gonna figure this out really fast.
We're working on it as we speak. If you
correct,
see some of these
correct,
countries,
they're gonna figure this out really fast. You guys are like the superpower, but you're not really the superpower.
Look at what Brazil is doing with China right now, right?
You talking about BRICS?
You know, they're working behind the scenes right now to create their own currency. Where it supersedes the US dollar. You know, and they're not the only ones. There are 5 major countries out there right now that are working in a unified front in order to overturn the US dollar.
That's called BRICS.
So, Mr. Think, you know all about this, obviously, but
so you talking about? Hold on a second. We talking about this like it's in code right now. Okay, so it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's who makes up BRICS. Originally conceived as a group of nations with high growth potential, BRICS has expanded in recent years, adding Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and United Arab Emirates in 2024 and Indonesia in 2025.
When Iran came on board, it changed the whole dynamics of everything. There's so many natural resources in Iran, people don't even realize right there. It turns the tide on how this actually works and how it will work. 2026 is going to be a very volatile year for the global economy because of this. Just watch.
My man said, China will collapse without us. They're giving in very soon after taking advantage of the U.S. for decades.
I disagree.
Well, I put it to you like this. The reason, from my understanding, the reason why China's in the position they are over us is due to something Bill Clinton signed way back when he was in power. And I forget exactly what that bill was, but basically it was to loosen the
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Whatever the constraints were on trade, and allowed it to be a little more fluid, which is part of the reason why at the time the economy had the boost that it had during Bill Clinton's years in office.
So let's talk about TS's comment for a minute. TS, do you realize who owns the majority of seaports in this country? Because I'll tell you one thing, it's not us. FYI.
China owns seaports. China owns farmland here in the U.S.
China owns more of this country than we do at this point.
Shit, China owns a lot of Africa too.
I said that, well, they have to step in line behind France because France has rights of first refusal for any of the resources that come out of Africa. A lot of people don't realize that. So the thing about it, and I said this last year on this live, in the next 10 to 15 years or less, we will all be speaking Chinese. I said that, and I still stand on that. And
they've been saying that for a while, though.
No. But with validity now, we will all be speaking Cantonese or Mandarin. Take your pick. Mandarin is the hardest one of the two, so go for the easier one.
I'm gonna need the earpiece that translates because I ain't talking none of that.
Yeah, it's coming. Cup of noodles for everybody.
Hey, let me address Cypher Kicks question. He says, speaking of the value of different shoes, why do you think the value of the Travis Scott Bright Cactus are so low? I know the color is different, but it's still a Travis Scott. Hey, Cypher Kicks, I'll be honest with you. Nike has ran Travis Scott name to the dirt, bro. Nike has moved over to, the Jumpman Jack, cut the check, but they need to go ahead and give him another style silhouette. They've made enough of this particular kick. Like, I think I'm gonna give you guys your review on the Jumpman Jack cut the check. the Vault colorway. But at the end of the day, they're producing too much. They need to scale back and they need to reassess. And a lot of people say they really don't care for the Jumpman Jack silhouette. They don't think it looks too appealing. But at mostly it's because they're running his name to the dirt.
Statement and then comment. Statement to TS. They won't be able to buy land in the U.S. pretty soon anymore. It doesn't matter. They're already majority stakeholders. The question for the actual chat and the panel is: do we feel that Nike has slutted out Travis Scott to the point where we just don't care anymore, or do they still have validity in the game?
Well, I'm a quote a famous guy, goes by the name of Mr. Think, and says that silhouettes don't sit, colorways do.
Facts.
I just think it's just a colorway that people don't necessarily care for.
That was the most spot on thing ever. Yeah.
And Perp.
Oh look,
to
Mr.
your
Think
point,
is here.
and Perp, to your point, yes, I do think there has been a slutting that had went on, but then they were probably trying that old school tactic. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think it's working out too well right now. But you know, one of those like, hey, if it ain't broke, let's keep running with it.
I mean, listen.
1 minute.
Try 1 minute, y'all. 1 minute till 10 o'clock. We got the Forget Me Not / Aluminum Force dropping. We also have the College Skate Education Foundation SBs dropping today. You guys are going for them here on the Sneakers app.
Where you kick?
Shout out to everybody. Hold up. Shout out to everybody in the chat for being a part of this right now.
VHS SB Dunks are supposed to be dropping this month. Have anyone been
VHS SB Dunks?
B is in Bravo.
Oh, Black History Month.
Yes,
I believe so.
Is anyone going for those? Because I know we've just kind of let that fall by the wayside since February.
I mean, they keep pushing the damn shoe back, so it'll be Black History Month 2026 by the time they release.
Listen. Drop that kick in 2026. Take it off the radar. Drop that in 2026. Close your eyes and just wait till next year. It's over with, bro.
That's hilarious.
Drop that thing on January 26th so people can get it by
10 o'clock, y'all.
February 5th.
10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Man, put that kick to rest, bro.
Good luck to y'all.
Put that kick
10 o'clock.
to rest, man.
215 for those aluminums.
Yeah, I mean, wear your kicks and J Elevate. You're not wrong. I mean, that's crazy. At this point, you might as well spin it out to 26. Late as usual. Late as always.
I mean, listen, like,
did anybody have stock numbers on these SBs?
I didn't even think to look, to be honest with you.
No, it's all good. I was just curious.
Hey, Jay, I'm with you 100%. I don't want the kick either, bro. The kick is a pass for me regardless. 1,000%, bro.
I do not see stock numbers right now on these College Skateboarding Education Foundation joints.
So if you win
on those,
where your kicks, you said you gonna go
are already under.
No,
not really.
You gonna skateboard in them or what, man?
That's like asking me, am I going to play basketball in my basketball Jordans? Can I skateboard in them? Yes. Can I do tricks? No. Pause. I know how to operate a skateboard, though.
Okay.
Do I have a skateboard? No. I do not.
I ain't mad.
You got a basketball hoop at the house, Jay?
Nope, but I got a basketball.
These numbers cannot be right. I'm seeing 52,000 total pair.
Of what?
Of the SB Dunks.
Oh, total.
Yeah, total.
Between all skate shops and releases? I mean, it's possible. 50,000 total pairs.
So size 11 and a half, 2,109. Size 12, because these numbers are all out of a size 13, 2,031.
There's a good amount of raffles out there. I know that.
Size 12 is 2,386.
Oh, this is
The
for the
most-
sneakers app.
Yeah, the most pairs are men's 10, 4,426. And then-
Superfly said supposedly 10K.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These numbers look really high. Like I don't believe these numbers. I'm not looking at my Eldon monitors either. I'm looking at Yeet. Yeet's always on their stocks.
Mm.
I mean, they're still sitting there on sneakers app.
Everybody's saving their money for the white cements in the rare.
Hello.
Well, also we got the Mellow 12s dropping this month too.
Yep. The Mellies.
How we feeling about the Mellow 12s?
Yep.
We got Mellow 12s, UNC1 reimagines, white cement 4s.
I hate those UNC1 reimagines. I've had those in hand, and that it's just everything's off with that sneaker. It should have just given us a re-release.
A perp. That's ever since I've seen that shoe, I've literally been sitting here saying like I'm just still neutral on it. There's nothing that gravitates me to it, and I'm not gonna say I hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm just super neutral.
And that's
been my stance the whole time.
That's a bad place to be in when you think about it, right? You know, you
11 we got 11 and a half, 14 and 15 is sold out. I'm guessing in the dunks.
That's me.
And
Congrats
SB
to
dunks. Superfly said he got a dub.
Congrats.
Dub. All right.
These are the Mellow 12s I'm showing right now. Listen, surprisingly, 12s have actually been doing okay this year.
It's a
Interestingly
pass for
enough.
me. It's a pass.
Champagne, you going live tonight or not?
Woo! Let us know, Superfly. Hey, Jay said 8 through 15 sold out. Ooh.
Oh wow.
Damn.
Selly,
They
selly.
gone.
I didn't see
They
that.
gone.
That's cool.
Did you
Anybody
get
able-
it, Lewis? You went for him, right?
I did not
Don't-
actually go for them on there. I did
Anybody
not.
else in the chat catch the
Okay,
W?
okay.
I'm waiting to see if I hit on a raffle,
Okay. No,
but
I got
maybe
you.
I didn't.
I got
Who
you.
knows? I'm gonna tell you this about these UNCs since we brought them up.
It's a go
To
for me.
me, I'm glad they switched up this box because for the longest time they were showing us that it was just going to be the reimagined Chicago box. But now, what's interesting is you can take this, and it's the inverse of the reimagined Chicago box. And if y'all want it, you could switch them up if y'all want it.
The box is the best part.
You know what's crazy is that
Get
the
him, Perp.
box was actually making me go and say maybe.
See, that's that.
The box was making me go and say, "Ooh, maybe." But I'm
Nike's
just
doing it.
overall like I'm just kind of like, eh.
This a go for me.
I'm telling you, once you have it in hand, pause. You will absolutely see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's just-
I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, eh.
It's a go for me.
Did you all
I
see?
don't need them.
Speaking of a better sneaker, of course, did you all see the Alaskas have now a release date, December 20th?
Really, the off whites.
It's official. Yeah.
Good info, Perp.
So what's today? So in 6 days we'll have the Black History Month actually dropping.
We'll see.
Aren't we supposed to get another release of the Union Chicago Jordan 1s? Aren't they supposed to be releasing on the 10th or something like that again on Sneakers app?
They said originally May 1st, then that got kiboshed, and now they're saying May 10th, which is probably going to get kiboshed as well. So I think that's it for them. I don't think we're going to see him on an official release on the Sneakers app.
There's just something about this shoe that I just kind of look at and go, Like, I like the story that they're trying to tell with them and stuff like that. But just something.
Reselling them is going to be through the roof.
You think so?
It's going to be another sleeper like with what we saw the metallic 5s.
But here's the thing, though. Will we actually see these on people's feet?
Hell no.
Because a shoe could move on the resale market and then you never actually see anyone wear them.
Well, Well, no. You're
For
not
example, Anthony Edwards AE1s. I've yet to see. I've seen one pair in the wild, and that was a youth pair on some kid's feet. What up, Tyler?
Tyler.
What's going on with you? Say you wanted to pop in and say what's up.
What up? What up?
Tyler's making that money today. Okay.
Yes, he is.
Not mad at that. Getting ready for those white cements. Let's go.
Let's go.
Shoot.
Hey, listen. Jay says, hey, he going for the UNCs. Don't want the UNDS of his off whites. Okay, so yeah.
Don't
You don't
want to
wanna,
un-DS my off-white.
UNDS is off whites. Yeah. To me, I mean, I get it. A lot of people not vibing with that Air Jordan 1 Reimagined. I'm vibing with it. It's a go for me. It's a go for me. I'm gonna try to obtain that silhouette.
I may wait and see if I can get them like under retail.
That's cool.
I may wait to do that.
You
Under
will.
retail, Cobb.
You'll have plenty of opportunity
Under
for
retail. I mean, my thing is this though.
Which kick?
Like
Which kick you're talking about?
UNC ones.
the UNC
UNC, okay.
Reimagined. Like, okay. So for those, so I know we have some people in the chat that absolutely did not like the Reimagined Royals.
Yep.
Would y'all rank the Royals over the Reimagined UNC or the UNC over the Reimagined Royals?
Let me get it in hand.
Me personally, see, I like the Reimagined Royals, so I'm biased. You can't ask me. But I want to know what people think in the chat.
Listen,
Reimagined UNC Royals or reimagined Royal Jordan 1s or reimagined UNCs?
I like both pair, but unofficially, I'm gonna go with the UNCs. And I like my Royals, but unofficially, I think I like the UNCs better. It gives me that old vintage vibe, and that's what I'm looking for.
I will go with the UNCs as well. Like I said, yeah.
Really? Over the Royal Reimagines? And you liked the Royal Reimagines?
I do. I'm looking at them right now.
Interesting.
I do like them. I do
Perp?
like them.
Yeah, I mean the UNC ones all day because I love the box. I love the story behind it. It's a story arc behind it, unlike the Reimagined ones. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I am in the minority on this then.
Yeah. No, I definitely would. But yo, hey Perp, I will pick up those UNC ones, but you know what type of deal I'm looking for.
A juicy deal. BBL deal. Juicy BBL deal.
Oh.
My man said I want a Miami deal on them joints.
Mm.
I just got off the plane and I already see.
That was serious. Yo, hey Perp, I stepped up the plane at Miami. I'm over here like this because I only wear my glasses when I need to see like far. I'm over there like.
Mm-hmm. Oh no!
He said, "Am I seeing what I'm seeing?" Oh yeah.
Let me wipe my glasses.
Yeah. Forget 4K.
Where's my Windex?
Man.
And on that note,
Chat, mind you, none of y'all stepped into the gym.
All right, Perp.
It's been real, but I'll definitely catch you all on the flip side.
Yep. I appreciate it, Perp.
Peace.
Yep. Peace. I got a few more minutes, man. Today I'm working. I'm going to the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Kentucky Derby? Wait, the actual Kentucky Derby?
Yo, it's weird too because it's weird. Number one,
you driving to Kentucky?
No. It's out here in Denver. Yeah, I've never been to said event, right? Excuse my ignorance, but I know nothing about a Kentucky Derby. But let me tell you what I do know is that it's a very elegant event. I guess a super high big deal, I guess. So
yeah, bro. Like most people, they listen. The women wear like they Sunday hats and stuff.
I've never, bro. I never knew.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Oh yeah, you've never seen it on TV?
Nope, not my thing, bro.
So there's a Kentucky Derby, there's the Preakness, and then I forget what that third race is. So whenever they talk about horse racing and they talk about a Triple Crown winner, it's a horse that won all 3 events within the calendar year.
So you want to know what? Now that you mention that, okay. Now that you make, because it's going to show you how I know nothing about it. Back in New York at Belmont Racetrack, I went to some sort of Triple Crown event, and I had no idea what it was, but I actually did go to one before. But I don't know. This wasn't like some dress up. I don't know. It just wasn't a fancy event. But I did go to some sort of Triple Crown something. Yeah, I'm talking about like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. This is a long time ago. But now that you mention that, I've been there one time. Yep.
So, oh wait, so you're going somewhere to watch it? Is it today?
Yeah.
This one must be
in
today.
Denver, I want to say it's
Churchill Downs is where the race is. Where the hell is Churchill Downs?
And
It's
I'm
raining,
gonna be
too.
I'm gonna be down in the Denver Convention Center. I think they're hosting it or something to that effect.
Oh, they must have it on like a big screen or something like that. You actually gonna
Yeah.
place a bet on a horse?
Nah. I you see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to work the event. I'm going to do security.
Come on, man. What's this doing?
Hey, Lewis, how do you zoom in? How do you?
Oh,
Dang,
okay.
I'm trying to figure this out.
What we got here? You take it. I have my screen on my laptop is touchscreen.
Oh,
so
you
I can
pinching
just I just use my fingers like I would on
I
a
got
cell
you.
phone.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Let's see some of these names. Where are these names at? I just saw it. Hold on a second.
What time you got to start with the event? What time you got to start work with that event?
It's like 1:00 my time, so it's 3 Eastern.
Okay. That's what's up.
So we got Citizens Bull, Neoquist, Final Gambit, American Promise, Admire Daytona, Luxor Cafe, Journalism, Burnham Square, Flying Mohawk, East Avenue, Publisher, Tistastic, Render Judgment, Cold Battle, Sandman, Sovereignty, Chunk of Gold, Owen Almighty, and Beza. Are
Flying
the
Mohawk. That's funny.
names of these horses running. Never heard of none of these motherfuckers.
Hey, chat, listen, man, for real, we appreciate everybody rocking with us, but to help us out with that algorithm, please go ahead and give us a thumb up. Please give us a like, man, so we can go ahead and make sure we are vibing out here and trying to reach more sneakerheads out there. Definitely share the live, man, with anybody you guys may know who loves kicks as much as we do.
We definitely have to work on the one pair at a time channel. Oh, I believe we have like 20 subscribers over there. We need to market.
Yeah, we
that.
definitely got to push that joint.
We definitely need to market that.
Yep.
Definitely
For
do.
sure.
Once again, congratulations to my guy Jay, man. I have to finish that video today. Like I said, I started it, but that video is flying, bro. Good work.
Yeah, I gotta finish it too. What's it at right now?
I don't know. Let me see.
What's that video at right now?
2.4K from what I can see.
2.4 thousand views.
Yep.
Wow.
For Mr. J Elevate.
I'll be honest with y'all. Like, I've been really behind the scenes working on this particular video for quite some time and really doing a lot of research, how to even just even improving like my channel and doing everything like that. So like, man, a lot of work went into this, and I do have more things coming along the way for you guys, man. Like, I got a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I'm working on. So I appreciate everybody's support, man.
So is this going to be a change in direction for the channel now? As far as the content you gonna start doing?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, potentially, you know what I mean. But at the same time, you know, it's still my flair. But at the same time, I just got, I got a lot of stuff that I want to do. Like I said, there's other things I'm really interested in. So you know, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yo,
So here we go
congrats on
here.
that, Jay. Like, let me tell you what you did. You've motivated me. You've actually given me a little self push because I'm literally staring at 4 pairs of sneakers that I have not done reviews on. Sometimes I get home from work and no lie, I'm so exhausted, and I don't make the video just because I don't have my proper energy, like I normally do, versus me just cranking out a video to crank one out. Superfly was gaming last night. He was streaming his gaming channel, and I clicked in and watched. Like, I don't think some people don't understand, and all of y'all are pretty consistent, Superfly included, right? But so I don't think some people really understand like what it takes, and what's going on behind the scenes with this whole content creation thing. It's not really just as simple as, well, just turn your camera on. It's not that simple.
It's not, and honestly, like it's really hard to grow your channel when you're in a tight niche. You know what I mean? If I'm using that verbiage correct, so there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And I've expressed it to you guys before. Like I've been considering, starting another channel. Is just that if I do that, I gotta find the right whip. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of stuff. It's easy to turn on the camera and just, blah, 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 blah. But like, if you really trying to like go somewhere with it, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, chat. It really is. It's not as easy as people make it seem. You know what I mean? Even if you do a 5-minute video, it's not as easy as it may seem.
It doesn't take 5 minutes to make a 5-minute video.
Nah, it does not.
It don't take 5 minutes to make a 5-minute.
I'll see in the finished product of probably 2 to 3 hours worth of work.
And that's when you're experienced, Lewis. I remember in the very beginning when I first started this channel, I put hours in. I'm talking about 7-8 hours in for a 3-minute video.
Yep.
That somebody would watch the first 18 seconds of.
Yep.
Hey, real quick, Jay, this studio background.
Mm-hmm.
Is this at your house? Where is this?
Nope. I absolutely went to a studio that
I can tell different camera angles, everything.
Promotes podcasts.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you can like rent this and use it.
Yep. They had different they have different rooms.
Nice.
And so I went there. This is the room I chose, this type of setup. And they run their own cameras. So this editing was not done by me. Everything else has been done by me, but this particular video, the editing was not done by me.
It was nice.
I saw the whole setup and I was like, yo, that's fresh. That's what's up, Jay.
You gotta you definitely gotta pull some clips out of this and put it out there. That's gonna draw people into these.
Yeah,
that's good.
Appreciate it. I just wanted to do something different, man. Like,
congrats.
Definitely wanted to do something different, man. Like, just to I just want to get people the truth, and that's why I had both doctors on there, and giving us their expertise information.
Yeah, that's
to keep it a bean though. To keep it a bean, when I was watching, listening to it, I'm like, shoot, I ain't wearing these joints for comfort. I ain't wearing these joints for my posture. That's a whole 100% facts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's interesting though when you think about the technology and design of how they make these shoes now, to where they want to contour the feet in such a way, especially when you're looking at the innovation that's come with like running shoes versus back then, during Mike's time when they were building a lot of these kicks. Like, the most innovative thing was the air unit inside the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To give you that cushion. But most of the shoes were flat. They used like the herringbone style grip. They had pivot points on the shoe. and stuff like that. And that was technology for sneakers like that. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know, with the way they make a lot of these shoes, they even have it to where the grip pattern goes up the sides of the sneaker because of the different like cut angles and lean angles. And I think one of the first to start to try to implement some of that was not AI's first shoe, but like his second shoe, when they really started to look at, you know, the way he would maybe it's not even that one. I know there was one of them where they started to do that, where they started to add the grip now to the sides because of the way like he would go to cut or like he would stop and the other foot would drag and the way he would try to push off and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like now there's comfort, you know, rigidity. I think Kobe was the first to actually request the low top, if I'm not mistaken, to give him better ankle flexibility. And that started a lot of run on like the low top basketball sneakers, even though most cases you wanted at least the mid to high so it would, you know, help stabilize your ankle.
Hey, Lewis, do you know what's so crazy about that? The bulk of me hooping, because I've hooped in Jordans coming up, right? But the bulk of me hooping really was in like, to your point, because it's preference, like low cut. I wanted a loose ankle. It was just like my preferred style. I remember, don't mark me on this. I want to say it's Jason Terry, but I think Jason Terry would put like 5 or 6 socks on, you know, one foot, and then like 7 or 8 pairs of socks, like literally pairs on the other, you know, and he put multiple pairs of socks on, you know, for that stability or whatever. But I actually had preferred like a low cut. It was weird. Everybody thought it was weird, but it was for that flexibility. I felt like I was super flexible.
Okay. And Jason Terry had some handles, y'all. Listen, Jason Terry was nice on the court, man, especially when he was with Dallas. Woo, man.
Oh yeah,
man, bruh. Jason Terry was nice with it.
Yeah, Jason Terry was. He was definitely was. So look, we're in May now. It's been 5 months. And how do you feel the rest of the year is going to play out in terms of just what we have now, how things are looking going into the summer? Let's just go into the summer. How about that? We're on the, you know, the doorstep of summer entering here. We actually have some decent releases going to be happening this summer. White cement 4s, you know, granted May for some, like here in Florida, kids get out of school here in May and start their summer vacay. We got, what else we got? Shattered backboard ones are on the way.
Yes.
You know, we've got a few different sneakers going to be releasing here during the summer. And usually summers are kind of quiet when it comes to sneaker releases. But just from what we've seen, what do you think the landscape's going to look like?
You know what? Honestly, this year has been a big question mark. Like, honestly, this year has been a big question mark. But I will say, I feel like the trend of kicks in terms of like purchases, I see a downtrend right now. And it's not because of the kicks. You know, there's multiple factors. So the real question is like, what will be that summertime fine kick that everybody absolutely going to lose their mind over? And yes, I'm hyping up, you know, the Cement 4. Rightfully so, my greatest sneaker of all time, known to any man to touch the ground, in my opinion. But what will be that kick? What will be that summertime fine kick that everybody loses their mind over, that they're going to talk about for the next 2.5 months, right? I have questions about that. And honestly, we know some of these kicks that people are going crazy over, that are a full-size run, they might not do as well as we think. I mean, let's talk about the Black Cat 3s. Not to switch topics, but we see a lot of people hyping up kicks, and then when they drop, so this is why I tell everybody, man, rock and buy what you like.
100%, Jay. 100%. I don't remember everything that's dropping, but for me, I have scaled back a lot, even on kicks that I actually like. Um, so Mando Cops for me off the top of my head because Lewis did mention Shadow Backboard. So Mando Cops for me that I can think of right now are going to be the Rare Air 3, Rare Air 4, obviously White Cements, the Gamma 11s, the Shadow Backboards. Those are mandatory. So those are 5 more mandatories for me this year that I could think of off the top of my head. Just real quick. I could be missing, but like
Gamma
the
11s.
mellow, yeah, Gamma 11s. I threw those in there. The mellow 12s, like I'll pass on those unless there's a juicy deal. You know what I mean? Like there's other kicks I like, but that's not like a mandatory like Mando Cop. That's not a Mando Cop for me. You know, same thing with the UNC ones. It's not a Mando Cop. It'll be juicy deal. Of course, I'll get it. But yeah, those are the 5 that I could think of. Those rare airs, I actually do want to the 3s and 4s. You know, obviously I got the 1s. So yeah, I'll definitely do the 3s and 4s and White Cements. No doubt about it. Matter of fact, the White Cements are going to be a double up.
Ooh.
That'd be a double up.
Double up on the White Cement 4s.
Double up White Cement.
So eventually sell that pair?
Nah, because my first pair, just like everything else, I'm throwing it right on foot. Like right on foot. You know what I mean? And then I'll hold on to that other pair to see, you know what I mean? Maybe sell or, you know, just to dog out my first pair or whatever the case is. But I actually want to get it right on foot, to be honest with you.
White Cement 4s, yeah.
Yeah, I want it right on foot. It's just like these SBs. Oh man, I've been rocking these navies, bro. Just right on my flu games, right on foot.
So you've been rocking them navies to save your pine greens?
Not necessarily to save the pine greens, but remember, I'm like this on the navies. So I'm heavy on the navies. So yeah, I've been.
That's true. That's true. You got you Navy heavy right now.
I'm Navy heavy. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Yep. That's true. Yeah, I mean. White Cement 4s, Shattered Backboard 1s, Rare Air 3s, they're on the way. Undefeated 4s.
Yeah. I see. I forgot about undefeated those. 4s. I actually forgot about those. Jay, where you at with undefeated 4s?
I'm gonna tell you right now, it is a cop for me.
Okay.
But personally, I don't care what's more limited. That Nike Air on the back means so much more to me. Y'all can have the Jumpman. I'll take both pairs. Don't get it twisted. I want both pairs. But if I'm picking one, that Nike Air on the back of the heel tab means more to me than the Jumpman.
That's fair. That is more than fair, bro.
You know, it's interesting. Oh, forgot. That reminds me now. Black Cat 4s. Black Cat 4s now with Nike Air on the back.
Now that he mentioned Nike Air, I just thought about Black Cat 4s too.
Black Cat 4s.
Yep.
That's going to be an interesting release, the way the undefeated 4s are. So they're making the Jumpman, and for chat, for those of y'all that don't know, so they're doing, so the originals were Jumpman on the back, but now they're doing Nike Air pairs, and they're doing Jumpman on the back pairs. And the Jumpman pairs are supposed to be way more limited than the Nike Air pairs. Now, when we say that, you know, there could be a total of 20,000 Nike Air pairs out there, and then the Jumpman pairs, it could be 10,000. Well, I don't know. It's speculation right now as to what they mean by being more limited. But we know a lot of people out here covet the way that Nike Air looks on the back. But in this case here, if you want the original OG, it's the Jumpman on the back. So we're going to see how this goes once we get closer to release time, what the community's really going to say. And then come release day, we'll see what happens. You know, I would bet you that Nike's probably going to do like some sneakers pass for it, some scratch off type stuff for it. There may even be some crazy raffles going on for them like they did the Bike Air 4s. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't necessarily see them having the undefeated 4s as just like a regular type of just, you know, we'll do some raffles and then that's just kind of it type of release. And then we'll do sneakers at.
Hey, Lewis and Jay, let me ask you this because I honestly haven't figured this out. Why is it that DSG tends to get their hands on some kicks and not others? Does anybody like I guess have any information on that as far as like their releases, right? Like obviously they're getting their hands on white cements, they're getting their hands on rare airs, but like they didn't have like black metallic fives, like just as an example.
Yeah, I think they did release on Black Metallic 5s after the fact, correct?
Oh, they did. Okay. See, I didn't know about that.
I think they did after, just like they had a couple restocks. Actually, so DSG in the past couple weeks, they released the 5 and they had some flu games pop up as well.
Okay.
You know, I don't necessarily know why they do and don't, but I do know that these retailers have to obviously purchase the pairs wholesale from Nike before they go to release them. Maybe I don't know. I don't know why they didn't have them.
Right. I was just kind of curious, especially on like I guess like a popular one, like that's weird that they don't have this, that they didn't go for this.
Yeah.
If you look at the trend, and this is just could be something that this is not facts, but I think if you look at the trend, when DSG gets kicks, usually it's going to be a massive GR release.
Yeah.
So when I look at that trend, and I could be wrong, not saying I'm 1,000% right, but that's what I noticed about certain Jordans. And we're not talking about Jumpmans, y'all. We're not talking about the Jumpman game. We're not talking about regular. We're talking about straight like the Jordan kicks, right? I think it's a massive GR. I'm more willing to say massive GR than just a GR. Usually. And I could be wrong.
That's fair.
That's fair. Thanks. Chat, shout out to you guys for being a part of this thing today. We love you guys. One Pair at a Time podcast channel every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Next week is Miami Got Soul, and your boy Where Your Kicks 26 will be in the building for that. Jay, you making your way over?
I know what? I think I need to come on back down where I belong.
Making your way over? Now look, I got I actually paid the extra money for the early entry tickets.
Oh, so you just gonna walk past me?
I got the early entry tickets.
He said, yeah.
He said early entry. He got the
early entry
pass.
is 11 o'clock. The show for the regular ticket people, it starts at 12.
Ooh. He said I got 1 hour earlier video footage.
I might make my way, man. I got to make sure I can, but I definitely want to come on back down south where I belong.
Man, you know what? We collectively gotta get together in a different city for another show. But
I'm down.
We definitely got to do that. We
talked about Vegas, didn't we? If my memory serves me
when
correct.
is Vegas though? Vegas would be an interesting.
Vegas would be
time.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
there's gonna be no
Vegas sneaker show would be interesting. So, let's see. He said DSG doesn't get Jordan 1s, which is weird to me.
I was looking at that. When was the last Jordan 1 we got?
That's an interesting comment right there.
That's very interesting.
They don't
I was looking at
Jordan
that. I was trying to think like,
Why do I feel like they had reimagined Chicago's, but maybe they didn't. Didn't.
Okay.
That is a very good question. A statement, should I say? That's a very good statement.
So they get 3s, they get 5s, they definitely get 12s.
Correct.
They definitely get Jordan 12s.
Yeah. Obviously.
They get 4s from time to time.
That's interesting.
I'm trying to think what else did they get. I remember, for some reason, I remember them having 6 or 7. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, they had the 11s, didn't they?
DSG, I believe so.
DSG had 11s.
Playoff.
But remember,
I got my playoff 11s from DSG.
But remember, massive GRs.
Did they have the low? They had the Bread 11 lows, didn't they? Which did any of y'all cop them Bread 11s? I did not. I passed on a lot of shoes this year.
Me too. And I like Bread 11s. I passed on the lows.
I passed on a lot.
And those did pretty good, didn't they? Didn't the oh, they had a ton of those at SneakerCon Denver too. A ton of them.
Brad 11s.
Yep. Ton.
Yeah, see, like that's interesting though. Like a GR release will come out, all these freaking resellers will go and try to buy up the pairs and then resell them to you at the show. Like, bro, these just released today, and you already trying to hit me over the head for $40 over?
Yep, literally, yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yep.
Come on, bro. So, Jay, man, what you got for us, bro, as we go ahead and try to close out?
Chat, without y'all, this is not possible. I'm telling you right now, you guys are the driving force for what we do. Without y'all, this is not possible, man. Absolutely. Please like and share and subscribe to all 3 channels and the One Pair at a Time podcast. You know the motto.
Now, I got to see the end of that video Jay just put out to see if he does that at the end of the video.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Y'all gotta watch the video. I don't know.
When he was doing the opening and the doctor sitting there looking at you, I was wondering, like, what's she thinking right now? As he's doing his opening, I'm like, what's she thinking? She's Mr. Thank, what you got for us, bro?
Hey, man, Jay already summed it up. Look, I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and tap into the One Pair at a Time. We appreciate you. Go ahead and like and sub up over there. We're definitely trying to get that channel, popping just like our personal channels. Look, as always, appreciate you tapping in, spending your Saturday with us. Congrats to everybody who was able to cop today. For everybody else who's just tuning in, look, man, it's always love on this end. So always appreciate you.
Always love, always appreciation for you guys being a part of the One Pair at a Time podcast channel, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But make sure you have the notification bells on because you never know who may pop up during the week. That being said, hopefully you guys have a safe rest of your weekend. We got Cinco de Mayo coming up here in just 2 days, but I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot going down tomorrow on Sunday in lieu of Cinco de Mayo, because Monday's a school night and all that good stuff. But that being said, man, be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. Catch us again next week.
Yay.
Remember, you too can have a great collection, but it comes one pair at a time. And with that, guys, we are out.
Yay.
Peace.